of hearing public comments concerning the revision of the Putnam County Comprehensive Plan, which is being revised and being projected for the years 2020 through 2035. Do we have anyone in the queue waiting to speak? Thank you, Jacob. At this point, we will wait and see if anyone comes into the queue. We certainly welcome anyone to come in and speak, come in and ask questions, or come in to simply observe. This is the 5th meeting we've held in the county to discuss this as a general meeting. So it's an opportunity for the public to be present and to give their comments and their concerns and their ideas.
Hey, Madam Chair, I have a question for you if you are open to entertaining.
I'm certainly open to entertaining anything.
So what's your, just to recap your vision for, you talked about the chamber meeting maybe coming up soon. And then what's your vision after that as far as preparations before you present to the board?
I think at that point, we take everything we've gotten, make sure we're comfortable with what the plan, the revisions to the plan are, turn it back over to Kimberly Horn to get everything in order, to get all of the documentation together, give it back to us for one final review. And the original goal was to get it to the board by the 1st of October, which may or may not be feasible at this time. I think if we got it to the board by the 2nd meeting in October, we would be fairly close on schedule. That's what I envision. Now, if we have to stretch that out further, I've talked with Mr. Turner, and he wants it to be as complete as possible and to get as much input as we can. And if it takes longer, it takes longer. And we can put a gusset in the timetable and spread it out. So what are your thoughts on that, Jim?
I like that. I just don't know how long it's going to take for us to put the map together. Brian, do you have any ideas on map completion?
I've got my GIS folks working on, you're talking about the future land use map, I assume.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know, the changes are not terribly extensive. The concept of collapsing ag into one, that's pretty simple. Taking a look at some of the rural centers, expanding a couple of, resurrecting at least one, is what Mike and I have talked about at this point in time.
And then looking at the urban service and urban reserve.
Right, expanding urban service up 17. And then Mike had mentioned that there was some additional guidance when he and I spoke briefly the other day, is to maybe take it down to wherever Public Works is really going to have sewer service, water sewer service available. So that would take it then down US 17.
Yes, right, to Horse Landing Road.
But again, that's doable. That's just a decision that y'all have to make. And to, you know, on those, it's to what extent, right? So the ag is simple. You turn off one color, right, make it all one color. I might even could figure out how to do that. I'm not guaranteeing that.
I've done GIS, so I understand the conundrum there. It's no fun.
So the big decision really is where do you run urban service? You know, what parcels do you want in that urban service series? I gather and understand the general aerial extent, but there are some parcels that may be more suited. So Mike and I did that work going up US 17. That's you know, these are policy decisions that have to be made. So,
well, that may be something that we discuss at the September regular meeting of the commission, and just set aside time for them to look at the map, make sure everybody has their copy of the map available, and let you lead that discussion. You and Mike lead that discussion, and make sure we've got full board input on that.
Yeah, it was Mike and I's goal all along, I believe, to have that map available at that point in time in draft form, because, you know,
Okay.
it's out of.
Well, everything is draft until it goes to the
Right,
state
right.
and comes back with a nice red seal on it or whatever it
Yeah.
gets.
Yeah, I mean, the map will be what comes out of Mike and I's fertile brains, and, you know, we can adjust it any way that the
Right.
commission certainly wants to.
I doubt that there will be that much, but I think there will be some urban reserve that's added, and maybe a couple of rural centers, like you said, and then of course the Ag 1 and Ag 2. We need to make sure we're still honoring rural residential as we had in the past. So I think if that's a comfortable time with you, Brian and Mike, let's kind of aim for that September 9th meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd like to ask this question. So we've pretty well put everything else out, or request-wise, to the public. Would we at that meeting, part of our advertisement, say, you know, we were accepting public comment on the map, since we really have not done that? Or your thoughts?
How are we going to get the map out in usable format electronically?
Well, we can have it on our website. We can
I think it's already on the website. It needs to be something that people can expand.
Right, the updated map, whether they click on it and it's compartmentalized. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure that our IT people can work with Kimley Horn's IT people to make that come to reality and just show this is the draft map.
And we might want
existing map.
We might want to do it by commission district.
We certainly can.
Have it in 5 segments and have an overall map, but then have the 5 segments that can be easier to read and understand. Because we have commissioner representation from each of the 5 districts on the board.
I think however you feel that would be appropriate, but I do believe we can come up with a way to expand that map as a PDF that people can look at and make that comment.
Then I think that that's entirely appropriate to have it open for public comment.
So we'll just need to make sure that Nancy has the language, or Mary, or both, should I say, has the language that we want to ensure that we're advertising that meeting properly.
Right. We will be reviewing final recommendations for the text of the comp plan, and we will also be doing a thorough review and revision of the future land use map. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike. No, you please. No, it's your call.
You are going to, here's what I anticipate will happen is, and I'm not saying it's wrong, just be aware that you will get people dialing into their specific parcel and making comments that way. I want
not in my backyard.
Commercial, or I don't want my neighbors to be commercial, or that's the type of detail and comments we're going to be facing.
Well,
we need to look at the big picture.
One of the things we planned on doing, Madam Chair, is to highlight or black line around things that were changed. We're not changing individual single half-acre parcel here or there. So you can make the statement that the future land use map is just like the old one, except for that which is highlighted or in the box or however we use it.
Correct.
And that way, you can maybe not like your current future land use or your neighbors, but if it ain't changing, it's probably not necessary, unless there's Mike is right. You're going to get some of that.
And we've got a lot of parcels in Putnam County that are dual classified, and that's an ongoing project that I know planning and development hasn't gotten the time to do yet. And those are things that that are on the drawing board. So, but I think you're right. I think we're going to get a lot of, I live at such and such a street address, and I don't like the fact that across the street from me is commercial and they might want to sell beer and I don't want that.
Sure.
Yeah, so, Madam Chair, if I may, I think what we should do, like what the board does with their meetings, is to put a clause out. If you want to provide comment, provide it via email. That,
exactly.
We can do it that way. We won't take comments at the meeting, much like we do for the board. You send your comments in via email, and they'll be read to the commissioners other than comment at the meeting. So I think we can cut down, but I see what Mike's saying, and Brian, I agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
But also, we need to have that. I think we need to exhaust that part of the process.
Exactly. Joey, what do you think?
That'd be the best way to do that. That way, let them do it by letter with their parcel numbers and stuff, and then we can look it up quick.
I think that's probably, I like that idea, Jim. Let's stick to that, and comments will be accepted via email and go from there.
Yeah, that'll be the same process that the board uses. We just need to change the name. That's all. And
I think that's good.
Nancy and Mary can make that happen.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Susan,
And that will go in the advertisement for the September regular meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
If that's what you desire, sure.
Okay, that sounds good.
Susan.
Yes.
That's
Joey.
the way the city commission of Crescent City does their Zoom meetings on their regular meetings. Everybody has to email in or submit a hard copy letter.
Okay,
and it seems to be
written
working out
in.
pretty good when there's something to come up to comment on. It's been working pretty good. And then we can
Do we
discuss
want
the
to have a large copy of the map available in the lobby of Planning and Development Services?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and we can
That's
put
easy
a
enough.
a little note on it to say, this is your proposed map. If you have questions, please contact staff.
Or
I
please
think that's a good one.
send staff an email. Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's
I
easy
think that's a
enough.
great one.
All right. I think we have taken more than 5 minutes. Do we have anyone waiting in the wings? Jacob, Brian, Mike, Jim, Joey, I really appreciate your taking the time tonight to be a part of this 30 minutes of brainstorming. And I appreciate everybody. And if there's anything you think we need to be doing, Jim, that we're not doing, please let me know.
No, I think
it's
you're spot on. I do. So it's all good.
And Brian, thank you again for everything you're doing. I think the ideas with the map are good. I think extending rural service where we have infrastructure is good, and I think we need to look at extending urban service and urban reserve, extending that out for municipalities where we don't have it, and growth clusters or population clusters to give them that opportunity for urban service. So with that said, we shall go home, or we shall stay home, as in the case with some of us. And I'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right,
Mike.
sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.